Well, hello, everyone who is joining us. I'm sorry to be late. We were chatting, of course, backstage as we are wont to do. And already we are seeing people joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to be here with you today. You know, me and my friend Jillian Whitney can just be up here talking for hours, but we do hope that you will come up and join us on the stage. I'm Annette Richmond, and I will let my partner in crime, I shouldn't say crime, but my partner, Jillian Whitney. Shall we start just chatting a little bit, or do you want to introduce yourself? We're pretty flexible here.
Yeah, just a quick introduction. My name is Jillian Whitney. I'm a LinkedIn live stream strategist and coach, and I focus on recorded video and live video. So those are sort of my specialties on LinkedIn. And I love this topic of engagement, Annette, because I think always be engaging. Abe, we'll call it Abe, always be engaging. And engagement can take many, many forms. And so we'll share some of our strategies. And then please join us on the stage if you have questions or, something you want to talk about, or maybe you've got some great ideas on engagement. So that's over to me, Annette. Why don't you give yourself a quick little introduction too?
Oh my goodness, I love that, Abe. That's so funny. It makes me think of Jeff Young, right? With the Abe, with always has those acronyms, right? Okay. So I'm Annette Richmond, and I help people accelerate their growth by building a strong personal brand. I work with people on LinkedIn profiles, some LinkedIn training. I'm not getting into now some also video coaching, like my friend Jillian, although she is the queen of video, and also helping people with content creation strategies. And I love talking about engagement too. I mean, LinkedIn, up until a few years ago, I thought of LinkedIn as sort of this place to make connections, and thought of it like many people do in kind of a more transactional manner. And then when I got on Clubhouse and I met so many people like Jillian, people here in the audience, and I learned that LinkedIn was more of a 24/7 sort of networking party that I could tap into. I mean, that's how you look at it too, right, Jillian?
Absolutely. And I always find that this is my rule of thumb is when I come to LinkedIn, I think more about engagement than posting. And I know that with some people, their strategy is, I come in, I post, and I walk away. That's not engaging. That to me is not having a conversation. So I always think of engagement as a conversation, and I will like to do engagement before I even post. It's tough for me because I'm on the West Coast. And so, you guys have all been chatting and like I'm asleep and I get on and I always feel I'm behind. But if you are not engaging with other people's content and your previous content, think twice about just posting, because this isn't a good platform for that one to many thing. We must engage.
Oh, 100%. And I hear a lot of people say if you're not able to engage, then don't even post, which is why we were talking before we went live that I've been absent from LinkedIn because I was at a conference last week and I was so busy doing things and actually engaging in real life with people, that I wasn't on LinkedIn. So I just want to mention a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, we are recording this, so we will be sharing the recording afterwards. And so if you come up and speak, we are not going to put the names with any transcript that we might have, although actually we found out that we're unable to transcribe the last time. Sorry, I found that out. We had too much text. But so if you're, people won't be seeing you, but if you think people might recognize your voice and you don't want that, then just be aware that we are recording. And one thing too, I will announce this again at the end. We will be back here on October 25th. This is a monthly event that Jilly and we have so much doing this that we are going to do it every month. So please do come up and join us on the stage. I see several friends in the audience. I am one of those nice people that I don't call people out by name, but I see a few people there, and I just saw a heart from one who would, add so much to our conversation. So please do come up. So we are going to start with talking about commenting. So why don't you kick us off, Jillian?
Okay, so commenting is just, in my opinion, the best way to grow your LinkedIn network. And I know that when I first started getting going on LinkedIn, I had a comment first strategy. So my first thing on LinkedIn was just to be a consumer. I was one of those, I don't like to call them lurkers, I call them viewers, but I was one of those people that just kind of went in and read posts. And then I moved into commenting because what I found was I was posting and it was like crickets. And I thought, okay, this is not working for me. And I think I learned this from John Asperian, who is my mentor for anybody who doesn't know that now. And I learned that by commenting, I could get to know people. And that was how I grew my network. And I began looking for posts and hashtags of people that I found were interesting. And I would follow those people. I didn't necessarily go and connect with people. I would follow them and then I would comment, because when you comment on somebody's post, you get on their radar screen. And hopefully, if your comment is meaningful and it's not just nice post, or you ask a question or you give an opinion or you do something to support the post or the topic, you'll find that the poster, the author of the post, will probably want to get to know you, and other people in their network will get to know you. So this is just a really, really great way to engage other people and grow your network with strangers, because we become friends in the comments.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that, and I like that you said people are. You said listeners. Is that it? Listeners? 'Cause
Yeah, I don't like lurkers.
yeah,
So
I don't.
to me, they're readers. Or
Readers,
they're consumers. They're consumers, because if
consumers.
you're
Yes.
watching a video or you're attending a LinkedIn audio event like this, to me, you're active on LinkedIn if you are consuming content. And I don't feel we should ever make fun of somebody who is in the consuming stage, because it's just that first step. And I think we should applaud them for being here.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I think of them, people that aren't commenting, aren't active that way, as learners, but I also hear them as viewers and readers. And Lisa, I'm trying to bring you up and I'm not able to. I keep trying. It might be, if you leave and come back, it might help me, because I've been trying since I saw you raise your hand. So I'm not ignoring you, but please do try to. Okay, great. She's going to do that. And, I hear a lot, sometimes people will say, because people like to give numbers, and they say, well, if you're going to comment, you should have, first it was 5 words at least. And now I've heard it's 8 words at least. But I think it's more about just having a thoughtful comment, saying something about the post, why it's resonated with you, what you learned from it. And if you can add something to the conversation, or also ask a question, because you're so right. People always talk about it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's really about who knows you. And I also love that, that you were talking about the idea of people being consumers and being readers, because what people often forget is, if I comment on your post, my network sees it, but so does yours. And so it's such a great way to expand your reach. All right, let me keep going back. I'm going to go back here and try to bring some people up, Jillian. So you take
Okay.
over the ball.
So one of the things too is, I know that a lot of us who are open, we have an open network in terms of we accept in-mails from people, strangers that we're not connected with. Again, this is also another wonderful way you can start the conversation and take the engagement out of the public forum and take it into the private forum by either sending that person an invitation to connect if you've been engaging on their posts. And then you could say, I really have enjoyed your posts, or I so agreed when I read your post about this particular book. That book is one of my favorites too. You're showing that you have some commonality, and people are much more likely to accept your invitation to connect if you comment. So that's another great thing about commenting. And then just as an aside, I saw Jeff Young, who, again, we both love Jeff Young, and he did a post this week about LinkedIn used to have an ability to pin a comment, which was really a great feature, because then that particular comment, it could be something that the author said or something that one of the people reading the post said. And that went away. LinkedIn took that away. Who knows, whatever. But anyways, one of the things that Jeff mentioned, which I think is just really, really good to just remind everybody, it's such bad etiquette to ever put a comment that lures people away from the conversation. So especially if you say, oh, I know so-and-so did a good thing about that, and then you put their link to go to somebody else's profile, you just kind of practice good etiquette with your comments, with not just having meaningful comments, but never take people out of the conversation. That's just one of my personal things. So I agree with Jeff on that.
Oh, I agree with it too. And yes, we both adore Jeff. And I agree with that too. I mean, people who are really good, good best practicers on LinkedIn, if they feel something is relevant, they might contact the person who originally posted and say, oh, are you okay if I post a link? Or sometimes people if someone comments, I've had this happen to me where I've commented on somebody's post, somebody that I know pretty well, and they have said, oh, feel free to share a link to whatever, maybe something that we did together. So Lisa, we finally got you up here. And if I'm not able to bring you up, if you raise your hand and I'm not able to bring you up and you've been there for a while, try going out and coming back in, because sometimes LinkedIn can be glitchy like this and we're not able to bring people up. So Lisa, my buddy, welcome. What would you like to share or add or ask?
Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, I was so excited to see this conversation pop up in my notifications. Okay, I just wanted to say that I love that you call people who are not contributing necessarily, but learning viewers. That's amazing, because I really dislike shaming people, especially on social media. It's not cool. I just wanted to contribute to the conversation, because I will tell you that I used to be terrified to engage when I first started using LinkedIn. And also, I'm a career coach and I work with professional women, and if they're looking for another job, for example, they don't want to comment or engage on any of my posts because they don't want people to know that maybe they're looking for another job. So yeah, there's lots of reasons why people might not engage, but you should still create content if you're looking to, increase your profile and establish yourself as an authority.
Well, Lisa, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. And often people do not engage on LinkedIn because they don't want, if someone is giving job search tips or even LinkedIn tips, people don't want to engage on that because they don't want to be seen by somebody else and have it perceived that they're looking for another job. So I appreciate you adding that, because it really is an important point. So I'm going to ask everyone to, if you're not speaking, please do mute. And Jillian, I see you wish to add something here.
I would like to add something. First of all, Lisa, thank you for coming and joining us today. We're happy you're here, so that's great. And I would say that I don't always engage on everything myself. And I think that it was something that I learned a long time ago of be careful what conversations you participate in. If you feel that they could maybe hurt you or reflect poorly upon you. So for instance, I stay away from, argumentative, big, snappy discussions where people are like just, flaming and this and that. I kind of just don't really want to be part of that. So I'll walk away, and I don't want to be a part of that. I try not to ever have a lot of negative comments, because we have to remember, if you go to your profile, we have a tab that says comments. And I know I personally use that when I'm vetting someone, which means doing a little bit of research before I accept somebody to be a part of my network. I will go and look and see what kind of comments do they make, because that to me is very important. And I have seen people who I hate to, I don't agree with shaming people, but let's just say some people are negative Nellies. Let's just use that phrase, that I don't really know if I want to invite those people into my network. It's just, so I think about, there's some topics for me I don't want to talk about because I feel it's not appropriate for me. And we should always respect other people who don't want to comment on that. And don't shame us into commenting, because I've seen that with people like, oh, we should all be commenting about this. And it's like, well, no, we shouldn't do anything. We need to always do what's right for us.
Oh my goodness, I love that you said that. Yes, yes. Always do what's right for you. I really dislike that too, when people are, comment or be vulnerable, be vulnerable, and oh, I'm in the hospital and I want to talk about that on LinkedIn. And that's cool if you want to do that, but don't push other people to do it as well. Thank you, Paul, for joining us on the stage, and I'm going to try to bring Corinne up now. So Paul, I haven't seen you around in a while. What would you like to add to the conversation, or do you have a question?
Yeah, thanks, Annette. First of all, Jillian and Annette, I'm really enjoying this session. It's the first one I've sat in on, and I think that looking forward to some more in future. So just a quick question, though. I wanted to get some clarification around what including in a comment, including stuff that pulls the reader or whoever's looking at the comment away from the discussion. Like if you can just clarify for me, like what if I know of a great web page that has a really, a great resource that's out there and I want to share it. Are you suggesting that that's not a good idea to like put the link in your comment to that external resource?
I would say that my recommendation would be just sort of practice the golden rule of ask the author of the post if they're okay with that. So I might send a private DM, because I've been in situations like, because I do so much with video, a lot of times people will be asking about captions and is there a good program and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm chomping at the bit because I know lots and lots of great tools, but I don't want to appear spammy. So I might go on a back channel, send the commenter a message and just say, hey, would it be okay if I put a link to this? Or I might say, I have some resources for this. If anybody would like to send me a DM, I'd be happy to share this. And usually the author of the post will say, oh, Jillian, just share it now. And then that way I'm seen as being supportive and not taking away from them. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Because I understand Facebook penalizes you for including links to anywhere off the site, like in a post. So I can sort of see. I wonder if you're authoring your own original posting, like your own original content on LinkedIn, though, are we penalized for including external links? That's a pretty basic question.
Apparently we are not. So I remember that the most, kind of the god of the LinkedIn algorithm is Richard Vanderblom. And I believe that, Annette, you can fill me in on this if you remember the details, but I remember him saying that we are not being penalized for links in a post or in comments. The only thing though, Paul, is when you put a link in even if you're doing this yourself, if you put a link in a comment and somebody shares that post, guess what? The comment doesn't go with it. And so if you're going to put a link, like you might say, oh, and I got a fabulous YouTube video that talks about this. Don't put the link in your comment, because if somebody shares that post, the comment, it's an orphan and no one will ever see it. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I had no idea that it didn't carry over when you shared it.
And that's unfortunately, to be honest with you, something that Facebook does better than LinkedIn is sharing posts. All the comments go with LinkedIn, unless you do one of those instant reposts, but then you can't share with comments. So that's just always something to think about.
Okay. So I guess the most important thing to keep in mind is the the courtesy of not sort of hijacking the conversation and diverting the other people's attention away from the original posting.
Absolutely. Okay. And that's perfect.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm done.
Yeah, what a perfect explanation, Jillian. And it is so true, because that's really the bad thing. If you're commenting, if you put up a post on something and I post my comment in the comments and they say, and oh, by the way, I wrote this great post on the same thing, so go over on my website or to my LinkedIn profile and read it. And that's something that, makes you not a good citizen on LinkedIn. And Paul, thanks so much for joining us and joining the conversation. So Corinne, thank you for joining us on the stage. Did you have something you want to add or a question?
Not a question, just a comment as to what has worked for me. I always comment on people whose posts resonate with me, resonate with my values, resonate with my goals, resonate in whatever form that takes. I also always post on those people I want to support, those that I want to encourage, those that I want to see. How do I want to say that? I want to see them grow. I want to be there for them. And so that's part of growing your network, I think, is the posting causes relationships. And I think that's the greatest benefit, is being able, it's not only for us, but our focus is on others when we comment.
I love that. I love your attitude, because it's supportive and it's win-win. And I truly believe that I always liken it to, like, if we all hold hands and support each other, we just make it all, we make everything a better place. So I agree with you 100%. And I love your headline, by the way, Stinkin' Thinkin'. That's Stinkin' Thinkin' Buster. That's just amazing. So well done with that.
Thank you much. I'm afraid it's not quite original, but I have been compared both in looks and in interest areas and input with Joyce Meyer, including my hairdo, my physical experiences we've had, and everything else. And that originally went with her. So I'm going to have to defer to her creativity instead of mine.
I love that. I love that. And can I just add in as an additional tip, just because I never know the skill level of everybody in the room, and I hate to assume everybody knows everything. But one thing that really helped me with trying to support people with comments is making sure that I always mention them, which means actually calling them into the conversation with using the @ symbol, and then very, very slowly typing their name. And then then you see them pop up, and then you click and you add the comment. And the reason for this is people are just inundated with their notifications. So if you just mention somebody by name and you don't use the @ mention, which essentially tags them into the conversation, they probably won't see it. And in the beginning, I used to think, oh, I shouldn't bother people. But people like to see their name. They like to, if it's a relevant conversation, and this is not like, don't sit there and tag 70 people, just to make your post go. But if you're actually saying something and you think somebody should be part of that conversation, then use that @ mention and bring them into it. So that's just a little tip, just in case people didn't know about it.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, Jillian, because you're right. I tend to think, oh, people are reading my mind as I'm talking up here, and it doesn't serve me well in real life. But it's so true, particularly if you're commenting on somebody's post and the post is generating a lot of interest, because most of all the people that we know, if you comment on my post, Jillian's post, Lisa's post, we will respond to your comment. But if you tag someone when you comment, it makes it, assures that they will see it, because sometimes it is easy to mention. And if you're going through and looking at comments, or you're looking at notifications, if someone's commenting on your post and they haven't tagged you, you may not get notified. You may not see it. So thank you, Jillian, for always teaching us.
Can I throw in another one? Can I?
Just no. Of course.
If I don't say it, I'll forget it. But I just want to remind people there's no expiration date on a comment. So if you have a post and for some unknown reason, you're just like, oh, I posted that about a week ago, and I'm just noticing now that these other people commented and I missed these comments, you know what? Go back and still respond to them. Still give it a like or a celebrate or, whatever emoji you want to do, because there's no expiration date. And I found one the other day. It was a year ago, and I just felt awful that I had missed this comment because it was a question, and and I went ahead and I just went ahead and answered it. And the person, they gave me a heart. So they saw it, they knew it. It just helps people know that you matter and we're seen. So there's no expiration date on comment.
Yes, absolutely. That is so true. And so I want to welcome, and I'm actually, I'm going to brutalize your name. And I actually just checked on your profile and it looks like, Hadijat or something. I'm sorry. I looked on your profile to see if you had the pronunciation there so I could learn myself really quickly. And, I didn't hear it. It was too soft for me. So please do welcome to the stage, and please do let us know if you have something to share or a question to ask.
Hello, Annette. Hello, Gillian. Thank you, Annette. You tried a bit. Yeah, it's Khadijat. Thank you for always hosting this space. We really do enjoy it. I'm really one of those that it's finding it hard. I'm a good listener. I love listening to audio events and stuff like this, especially when I'm doing my day-to-day activities or working at home. So I just wanted to chip in a little something little I learned from LinkedIn. It's about commenting. So we normally see posts and then we see things we resonate with and we go ahead and try to leave a comment. So one thing I learned, I can't remember it was from a post or from a comment or an audio event on LinkedIn I learned, is that you can go ahead instead of deciding to comment, be the first to comment on a post. One of the ways to enhance and get LinkedIn engagement, improve engagement on LinkedIn is by going through the post, check previous comments and see one that resonates with you, instead of repeating the same thing that someone has already written before. Go ahead and agree with that person and add to that, or appreciate that person, or improve on the comments that resonates with you. You don't really need to always put in a new comment, always be the first to comment. I think it's one of the, so with that, people see you, people see their comments, people have the feeling that their comments are seen, they are appreciated, and then you establish relationships from those. So it's one of the things. I know I'm not really good at keeping up with LinkedIn, even though I am very a very advent followers of LinkedIn audio events. But with comment, it's a really good strategy, and I felt a lot to others should learn and implement. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. What a great tip that is. Thank you so much. And as we started talking, it's all about driving those conversations. And what a great way to start a conversation than to comment on somebody else's comment. Jillian, did you want to add to that?
I absolutely love that. That is a wonderful tip. And I actually try to do that it's like, I see it as like, I always envision a post. Like if I was going to like some sort of networking event and there was a small group standing around having a whole chat, and maybe one person is leading the conversation, but everybody else is standing there and they're nodding their head. And then, so-and-so says something and then so-and-so says something. And so when you go and see a post, look and see what other people have said, because you're not just wanting to engage with the author of the post. There's the other people in the whole community of a post, and it's like a little bit of a party. And those are the times where if you see a comment, and especially if it's somebody and it's a second or third connection, you may never see that person again. So if you see a comment and you go, oh my gosh, we're like so on the same page, respond to that comment and follow that person, because you'll never find them. So I do that a lot with topics about some of my passions in life is books. I love to read books. So when I hear other people talking about books and they say, oh, this is I love this book because of such and such. It's like, if I know somebody loves a book that I love, we have stuff in common, and I don't want to lose track of that person. So follow people from the comments of all the other commenters.
Yeah, I love that. I love that too. And it is true. It is one of those platforms. If you see somebody and you don't follow them, they're lost in this, 930 billion or million, whatever people here on LinkedIn. And the one thing that I just want to mention is something that I learned too, is to comment on your own post. And so, if you comment on your own post, then you are adding some, value and can drive additional conversation and engagement from others on your post. And I learned to do it with a little pin, so it sort of stands out, because the author's posts, my understanding, are always at the top anyway. So if I comment on my own post, it is the top comment people are going to see. And oftentimes people, when you go back and add some more value, people will comment on that as well. And it's all about the engagement. Okay, Jillian, what do you want to add?
Okay, I want to just ask you, Annette, when you say you put a little pin, are you talking about you're using an emoji pin? Like what kind of pin are you doing?
Yes, teacher. That is it. Jillian is correct. I am using the red pin emoji in there to pin it. Thank you.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. And I know that if I want to sort of accentuate my comments, I'll use a Bitmoji, and I have Bitmoji Jillian. She's like my little alter ego. And for anybody who doesn't know about Bitmojis, really just go to my profile and you'll see she's peppered throughout all of my content. But Bitmojis are by Snapchat, and it's free and you can make them, and they're like your little alter ego. But I use these in comments because there's so many good Bitmojis, and it's just a way of making your comment stand out. But I like using that red pin emoji too, Annette. So that's good. I just wanted to make sure people knew what you were talking about.
No, thank you. And I love Bitmojis too. People that know me know that I love them. And there is also a Chrome extension, right, that makes it easy for you to use them if you're making a comment, right? How does that work?
Yes, it's marvelous. So you have to set up your Bitmoji on your phone, and you choose your hair and your body type and your clothing and all this good stuff. But once he or she, whatever your alter ego is, once your Bitmoji is created on your phone, then there is a Bitmoji Snapchat Chrome extension, and you can go in there and it's like a little search box. So I can go in there and it's like, maybe I want to put like, a heart, or birthdays. Birthdays are a great one. So I can type in the word birthday and I'll see Bitmo Jillian, and she's like writing happy birthday in the sky, and she's got another one with gifts. And then I just download that to my computer, and then I just uploaded it in the comments as a picture. So, and GIFs. If you don't want to do Bitmojis, GIFs are also a cool little thing that you can add to comments to make your comments stand out. So if you want to see the king of the GIFs, it's probably going to be Jeff Young. Kevin Turner's pretty much a close second now.
I know. So thank you to everyone who has joined us on the stage so far. We are at our halfway point. So I just want to remind people that we are recording this session, and we will put a link to the recording in the comments after we have to jump through a few technical hoops, but we will definitely be putting it on there and uploading it online for you to listen to all the great gems that have been dropped today. And we will also be back on October 25th, same time, same channel, and have for our next audio event. So one of the things that we also were talking about, and Jillian said, let's talk about skills endorsements and recommendations. And so Jillian, I'm going to let you kick that off, girlfriend.
Okay, so I actually did a fabulous whole thing with Kevin D. Turner yesterday about skills and just the importance of how the skills on your profile just make us so findable. But this is truly the most wonderful gift that you could give to somebody that's a real low-hanging fruit, in that if you go to anybody's profile and you see that they have, listed the skills that they want to be endorsed for, and you can be endorsed for up to 50 skills, and each of us can set the skills that we want to be endorsed for and put them in the order that's of importance to us. So the important thing is that when you go to somebody's profile, a wonderful gift that you can give somebody is to just endorse them and look through those skills. And you should be honest. It should be something that you know that they can do. So it's like, if Annette says that she does COBOL programming, which I don't think she does, but if she said that, well, I had no way to endorse Annette for that because I don't know that. But if Annette said she does, graphic design, I've seen Annette's stuff. I've worked with Annette to know that she does do that, and I could endorse her. And it's literally just a click, click, click. But these really help our colleagues become more findable in the LinkedIn search. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful way to help people be found. And I know we have Tina in the audience, and she's a recruiter, and recruiters find people because of their skills. So skills are so important.
Yes, I love that. There's so many things like that I think about doing too, and I need to put a list on how my day. Okay, today you're going to do this, and today you're going to do that, because I am so victim to shiny object syndrome where, oh my goodness, something else is like, oh, here's a webinar, let me go to that. So thank you to everyone, as I said, who's been up on the stage with us. We have some people in the stage, friends of ours. Please do come up. I will not
Can I just add a final thing on skills? Because again, I don't know the level of everyone in the room today, but one of the nice things about LinkedIn is that when you endorse somebody for skills, then LinkedIn automatically sends that person a message and says, Jillian has endorsed you for graphic design. And so again, that person will know that you've done it. So you're not just anonymous. You're not just out there clicking and endorsing people and, you're just like in the wind. It really matters, and that person will be notified, which is again another way to start a conversation and to engage with people. So that's just another great benefit of skill endorsement.
So, something just popped into my head, and it wasn't something that we talked about beforehand, but what do you think about those kudos?
I'm guilty of never ever doing one, and I'm sitting here with like a dog shame face, like I have never done one, so maybe I'll do a challenge to myself of doing one for somebody, because I have never done one of those, and I think that's a kind thing to do. That's a kind thing to do. So you tell us your thing, Annette, because I'm guilty.
Well, I don't do them. I have done them, particularly for people that I have volunteered with or, worked with in some way, because it is more of a personal, if I send kudos to you for something, it does have to have some kind of a meaning behind it. At least that's what I think. But another thing, and I am guilty of not doing this myself, I say, I'm going to do this 5 this week or 3 this week, is giving other people recommendations. And, I struggle with that sometimes because I'm not quite sure what to say. And so, or again, it's one of those things that I just know that I should be doing and I don't do it. And when I say know that I should be doing it, I don't mean it to sound like a chore. It's something that I should share because people I know who are smart, generous, giving people, you know, recommendations really help. They help people who are business owners get more clients. I don't have tons of recommendations, but I have had people hire me based on a recommendation that someone else wrote on my profile. So, any tips for what to say, Jillian? Because we both love books, but you're a wordsmith as well.
Okay, so I would say two things. Number one, just look at their look at their headline and look at their about statement, because that probably can give you some ideas of what to talk about. But the important thing is, if I wanted to if I want to do a recommendation for you, Annette, now I'm rubbing my head going, I hope I have, but I have to go back and check. But if I wanted to give one to you, Annette, and I was struggling, probably the best thing for me to do would be to send you a DM and say, Annette, I've known you for so long now. We've done so many things together. I'd like to give you a recommendation. What would you like me to focus on? And you probably would say, oh, I'm trying to, do this new thing or whatever. Could you talk about my skill at that, or how we work together on this project? I say, if you don't know, go and ask the person what would help them. And, we don't have to sit here and reinvent the wheel. And if somebody sends you something, then some people might actually just type something out for you, and then you could wordsmith it, make it your own, and send it back. So there's just, I think sometimes we just need to be honest and say, you know what, I'm not knowing what to do. Help me help you.
I love that. Help me help you. Help me help you. It makes me think of that Cuba Gooding Jr. in that Tom Cruise movie. Help me help you. Actually, it was Tom Cruise, I think. Anyway, that is so important. And, as we are whipping through our time here, I want to, since you mentioned about DMing, because that's something that I know both of us love to do. There's so much magic that happens in the DMs, taking the conversation. I mean, it's great if you can take the conversation off LinkedIn, in person, but sometimes people are across the country or across the ocean, and you really can't do that. But the DMs, I know that, we both belong to several group DMs, and the engagement that happens there is really, really quite incredible. So, I think people know what direct messaging is, but let's talk a little bit about, well, that of course, but also about our favorite things, voice and video. And since you're the video queen, I'm turning it over to you, Jillian.
Okay, so my first tip is, yes, I absolutely love doing videos, and I always go the extra step. Anybody who's ever got a video DM from me will see that I always go and caption it. And that's because I don't know where you are going to be when you are opening up that video. So it could be you're at home and it's like, I'm going to be noisy. So I do that so that you can be inclusive, and you could be deaf. I don't know. So I like to add captions even to my videos, but that's just me. Now, one thing I do voice notes, I do video messages, I do text messages. My biggest tip to everybody is match people where they're at. If you want, start off with a text message, because that's the easiest to consume. So, don't connect with me and send me 5 voice messages, because maybe I don't like voice messages. Test it out and match people. So if somebody sends me a text, I usually send them a text back, and then I might send them an audio, a voice note, And if they don't seem to like it, I won't send them any more. So, match people where they're at, because we just don't know how people consume. And so just be aware of that. It's not for everyone. And with the voice notes, if you're going to do a lot of voice notes, put some context in your voice notes of like, oh, here's a voice note about how we're going to be getting together next week for the LinkedIn Live. That way, people, when they're scrolling through it, they don't have to sit there and listen to every one to find it. So those would be my tips.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And we're both like to send video messages, and I have to say I think I learned that from you. I learned how to do it from Momita because I could not figure out how to do it, and I think I remember her being the one who taught me how to do it. And they are so memorable. Now, if I video message you, Jillian, I could be just getting up. I didn't brush my hair, but I saw something I wanted to say to you and you maybe congratulate you. And so I hopped on a video message. But, there is something very memorable about getting a video message. And it's also something that, because I was just at this conference, and that's one of the things I was talking about, and you talk about all the time, Jillian, in your book, How to Be Comfortable on Camera. I just was thinking, maybe that's a good way to kind of start testing your video chops, is to send a video message to a friend. What do you think about that?
It's a safe space. So that is the best way to get comfortable and relationship build. And these are not pitch videos. I tell people, send videos that are like, hey, I saw it's your birthday, or Annette, I saw you started a new business. You got a new gig going. I'm so excited for you. I saw that post and I just wanted to, send you a personal follow-up. That's what you're doing. You're not saying, hey, buy my $7,000 course, and you send out the same video to everybody. These are personal videos that build relationships. So absolutely. But the nice thing about, if you ever send a personal video to somebody in a DM, you can't get it out of there. It's not like, Annette has actually sent me videos where she just woke up and she was so excited. She's like, I didn't even put on makeup. I just had to send you this note. I can't take that out and use it anywhere. They are safe. It's a safe space. They are in the message stream. You can't pull them out. So that's really nice to know that it's a great way to practice, because it's not like somebody can forward it to somebody else. It's safe space.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, we are down to the last 10, 12 minutes here. So please, if you're in the audience and you want to come up and just say hello, share an experience, or ask a question, please do come up and join us. Jillian and I could hang out and chat here forever. And we do thank everyone who has come up on the stage and joined us. And, I think the whole thing with, I'm sorry, Lisa, you just unmuted. Did you want to add something?
Oh, I had a question, but I think it was actually Khadijat that she has a question too. But I'll ask my question first. Because first of all, I did not know that you could send a video message. I am so excited. Like I'm jumping off my seat right now. I'm so excited. I'm going to do that. But my question was, when you were talking a little bit earlier about engagement, I didn't know you could pin a comment either. So thanks for that nugget. I have people in my network who they'll write a comment that they want me to engage in, and then they will tag me in the comments, presumably to have me engage and help the algorithm. Like, what is the etiquette around that, or what are your thoughts around doing that to encourage engagement?
I think that's a terrible thing, and I don't like it. And you can do a couple things. If you feel it's kind of not appropriate, because I've had that, you can just ignore it. You can ignore it. Or if you want, you can actually, I think, Annette, if this is true or not, you still can do this. You can actually kind of like uncomment yourself off. And then that way you can kind of say, you're like reverse at mentioning yourself, and you can actually disassociate yourself from that post. And I have found that I had a few people that every morning they were sending me their, please engage on my post. And sometimes they weren't even saying, please engage on my post. They were just going ahead and sending it to me. And then they were tagging me every single time. And I just stopped following them. So it's really bad etiquette, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you can do that too, but I don't know how. And I've had that happen every once in a while with someone, and they will tag a bunch of people in their posts. And my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jillian, is that if I'm posting and every day I'm tagging you and I'm tagging Lisa and I'm tagging like 10 people I know, but nobody responds, that is a black mark on me from LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Yep. It's true. And it can tank your post. It can tank your post. So having a tag wall is just not cool on any measure. So yeah. And I've had one person that I had to go to them and say, please stop tagging me. I just said, please stop tagging me. If it's relevant to my expertise, I'm happy to be called into the conversation. But when you tag me on every single post, it's kind of like the little boy who cried wolf type of thing. And they stopped. So it can, sometimes you just
Okay, I
have to
was just
take
curious
the bull by the
because
horns.
yeah, it seems to happen so often. And yeah, I was just curious what your take was on that, if I was reading it wrong or if I'm just being too, I don't know, judgy. I just really wanted to get your opinion on that. So thank you.
Oh, I think that's right up there with those engagement pods, right? Which I think there's a lot of unofficial ones floating around there.
Oh yeah. And the AI comments, like that's a whole other show, but like the AI comments, I'm starting to see the AI generated comments because there's people selling this as services now and they're just boring. Like you're just like, okay, really, are we going to just have like little robots all commenting on each other's posts? It's horrible. So I don't like those either.
Okay, so you had a question also. Kajat, is that I'm terrible with name pronunciations. Did you have a question also?
No, go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. Comment or something. I thought I saw you on mute before.
Oh yeah. So I just wanted to give a heads up if with Gillian mentioning with the video comment video, yeah, the short videos that are sent on the DM. It's really LinkedIn did something really great with them not being able to download them. However, I just want to put in a little cautious. Let us be a little bit cautious because with iPhones you can screen record. So let's just be cautious of what type of video we send out there. Even though I know one wouldn't send any video to any other person. It has to be someone you have a kind of a relationship. You have to have a kind of good relationship over time. But still, yeah, let's just be cautious. Yeah.
You are absolutely right because you can never say anything is completely safe. And you're right. People could screen record the video. People could, whether they do it on an iPhone, they do it with something on the desktop like Camtasia. So yes, it is possible. And my rule of thumb is I never, ever, ever send anything in a DM that if it was made public, I'd be embarrassed about. It's like my mother taught me that like, if you do something, could it be on the front of the New York Times? I don't know why she said New York Times. We lived in Toronto. It didn't make any sense to me. But it was that if you are always in integrity and you're doing the right thing, because haven't we all done that where you've sent an email to the wrong person and you're like, oops. But if you didn't do anything that was bad, you don't feel bad. So yes, always make sure whatever I'm writing, whatever I'm typing, think about it. Whether you're saying something, always act in good integrity and it will never come back and bite you.
Yes, that is so true. And I always think of it too, that that whatever platform we're on, the platform is always listening. And I don't mean that people are, say, from if I'm on TikTok, that people are there just, running around reading things. But I'm sure there's stuff in the algorithm that will pick up on things that you might not want to be saying. So we are just about out of time here. We're down to our last 5 minutes. This has flown by as it did the last time, which is why we decided to make this a monthly thing. And Jillian, what would you like to share for sort of your final thoughts here?
Just always act with the golden rule when you are engaging with people in private or in public on LinkedIn. Always think about how would you like people to engage with you and act the same. And I think if we always keep that in mind, we'll just be making LinkedIn a better place.
Oh, I love that. You're so nice, Jillian. You're so sweet. Yeah, I think that too. Being negative, and we're talking about the DMs, but you were talking before about in your comments. There are some people who, post negative things. They sort of, shame other people on the platform or shame them in the comments on their posts or bully people. And, who wants to be that person, right? Who wants to be that person? Who wants someone to say, oh, yeah, that Annette, boy, she's a real witch. And so, let's not engage with her. So I love the idea of just, being nice and treating people, I guess, as you would want them to treat you. And so we are down to the last 2 minutes. And Jillian, this has been such a treat. Again, please look for the recording. We'll put a link in the comments, and we will be back just about a month from today on October 25th with our next Media Mavens Talk. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's been so fun. And I guess it's time for us to say goodbye. What do you think, Jillian?
Okay, that sounds good. And just because if there are a few people that don't know about video messages, if I have Annette's permission, I will put a link to, I did a whole newsletter issue on how to send video messages, which actually has like video instructions and a tutorial. So if that would be of interest to people, and I do have Annette's permission, I'll pop that link into the comments, and then everybody will know how to send video messages.
Well, I think that's amazing. And you don't need my permission because this is our show, girlfriend. It's not my show. It's Jillian and Annette's show. So thank you, everyone. And do check for that video because Jillian has the best how-to videos. So thank you, everyone, for being here. We've had so much fun. We hope that you've learned and had fun, too. And we will see you next month.
Yay. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.